The Buffalo Bills put on a show in LA to start the season 1-0, and I'm breaking it all down today on Locked On Bills.
You are Locked On Bills, your daily Buffalo Bills podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Bills Mafia? It's Joe Marino from the Draft Network, and I'm your host of Locked On Bills. Thank you for making Locked On Bills your first listen every day. And as a reminder to you, we are free and available for you on all platforms, including YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. It's BetOnline, and it's where the game starts. Happy Victory Friday to you. The Buffalo Bills defeated the Los Angeles Rams 31-10 on opening night in LA and absolutely made a statement. I spent some time around this football team during training camp and in the preseason, and it was very clear to me watching them and observing them up close that this was a team on a mission. You saw that on Thursday night. The Rams, they began their Super Bowl title defense. They hung the banner and got trounced at their own place. It was an awesome game to attend. I was fortunate enough to be in LA where I am right now, recording this podcast from a hotel room not far from SoFi Stadium. And it was just a fun atmosphere, a fun football game. Awesome to get a chance to be there. How about that Sean McVay, 5-0 on opening night? You can't beat him with extra time to prepare. Well, Sean McVay got completely outclassed by Sean McDermott and McDermott's coaching staff. I thought McVay was dreadful. His plan offensively was flat. They stayed in 11 personnel the entire game. They tried to scheme everything up and found no rhythm. And then defensively, they were so vanilla, and Buffalo took it to them. You could really sense that McVay was outclassed when you saw how the Rams performed coming out of timeouts, coming out of, end of quarter, end of half sequences. They really struggled. The Bills made a statement on opening night for the NFL. I'm excited to talk about this football game. If you've been around in previous years, you know how we immediately respond to games. If you are new, welcome. We do 3 segments. We talk about the things I liked, the things I didn't like, and then recap my predictions and set the stage for what's next. First of all, folks, the voice is a little off. I was at the game cheering on the Bills, so if I sound a little hoarse, that's why. And I'm also remote, so I have a different microphone set up. And so if you're watching on YouTube, you can obviously tell that, but just want to let you know right off the bat, if the voice is a little different today, that is why. So let's talk about the things I liked from this football game. We have to start with Josh Allen. 26 of 31, 297 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 10 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. What an efficient performance. I think he set the Bills' single game record for completion percentage in a game. Josh Allen's a monster. I mean, this guy is an unreal competitor. It was a special performance from a special player. I loved his approach. I loved how he picked his spots to work the ball down the field. He played with a lot of rhythm. The ball came out quick. He was confident. I thought he played a good ball game. Obviously, the throws down the field to Gabriel Davis and Stefon Diggs stand out and speak for themselves, but I thought his accuracy in the quick stuff was really good. He layered in some darts. There was just a lot of confidence in how he operated and ran the offense. And since I started doing this podcast in 2019, I've talked a lot about Josh Allen and meeting moments. And this was a unique opportunity, right? This is the season opener. Everybody's excited about football. Everybody's excited about this game. You're in Los Angeles. What are you going to go out there and do under this stage? And not that it was ever a doubt, because Josh Allen always shows up. But you can just tell that he's a mature, confident quarterback. It would have been an easy opportunity for him to allow some of his old bad habits to show up, trying to do too much when everybody's watching, wanting to put on a show. No, he let the game come to him. Smart football player. Played in rhythm. Got off script when he needed to. He aced the test. Josh Allen's on a mission. You could tell watching him. Man's on a mission. He had one blemish. We'll get to that later on, but Josh Allen played like a league MVP on opening night. How about Stefon Diggs? 8 catches on 9 targets, 122 receiving yards, a touchdown. He schooled Jalen Ramsey. And Josh Allen wasn't shy for 1 second about testing Ramsey. According to Marcus Mosher of Pro Football Focus, Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey allowed a perfect passer rating of 158.3 in week 1. He was targeted 7 times, allowed 6 receptions for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Bills took it to the perceived number 1 cornerback in the NFL. And Stefon Diggs took him to school over and over. The timing, the separation, the rhythm. Diggs had his way with Ramsey. It was fun to watch. You know, Ramsey thought he was something for that one incomplete pass in the it was in the kind of close to the goal line. Josh probably should have ran it in, and he kind of flicked it to Steph Diggs. It was incomplete. Jalen Ramsey was feeling himself, and that was it. The other 6 times Josh went after him, there was a lot of production. Steph Diggs put on a show with his buddy Josh Allen. It was fun to watch. How about Gabriel Davis? 4 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Scored the first touchdown of the season. A great play call from Ken Dorsey on a 3rd and short. Jalen Ramsey drove forward on Josh Allen when he broke the pocket on the rollout. Josh hit Gabe for a touchdown. Opening drive of the season. How about the 47-yard completion to Gabe Davis on the 3rd and 7? This is a big moment of the game. First play of the 4th quarter, it was huge. This was a 17-10 ball game at the time. Set the Bills up 3 plays later to score, go up by 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. And while those plays stand out from Gabriel Davis, I don't want to not mention how good of a job he did as a blocker. He was getting after people. He was making key blocks on the perimeter, and the Bills were really trying to attack the edges of the Rams' defense with the run game. And a big reason why they had some success there was because of the work Gabriel Davis did as a blocker. How about Jamison Crowder? Played really well. I know that the stats aren't going to blow you away, 3 catches for 28 yards, but he stepped in and moved the chains on several instances, and then he handled the punt return duties. And that was not something we expected. I thought Khalil Shakir was going to be the punt returner. It was Jamison Crowder, something that he's done in the past, but it's not been a regular part of his what he's been asked to do on game days in a long time. But he looked comfortable. He fielded all 4 punts, returned 1 for 21 yards, and did a great job. How about Devin Singletary? 8 rushes, 48 yards, 2 catches for 14 yards. Those numbers aren't going to blow you away, but he ran hard. And he clearly outperformed the Bills' other running backs. Averaged 6 yards per carry. You know, you look at the production that Zach Moss and James Cook had, only 7 rushes for 17 yards combined. They both had a fumble. I think Devin Singletary proved once again that he's the best back this football team has. How about the offensive line? I thought they were really, really strong. Created consistent displacement in the run game. There was a lot of movement. There was a lot of space for these Bills ball carriers to work with. I thought pass protection was really, really solid. Josh Allen got sacked a couple of times, twice, only lost 5 yards. Once it was Aaron Donald. He beat Ryan Bates clean. That's going to happen. But I thought protection was really, really strong throughout the entire game. Really, really strong debut for that unit. And, of course, for the offensive line coach, Aaron Cromer. The last thing I want to say about the offense in terms of my shout-outs, Ken Dorsey. I mean, his debut as a play caller, I'll tell you what, this is not Brian Daboll's offense. At least for this game, it wasn't. Very, very different personnel groupings and utilization of players. Receivers rotated quite a bit, including Diggs and Davis. They didn't play every single snap at all. The calls came in quick, gave Josh Allen an opportunity to break the huddle with around 20 seconds, get to the line of scrimmage, be able to look at things, adjust if needed. Thought there was really good chemistry and communication, it felt like, from Ken Dorsey to Josh Allen. There was a plan, and it was a really, really strong debut. 31 points, 23 first downs. The Bills were 9 of 10 on third down, 413 total yards, over 7 yards per play, 121 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 2 for 2, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. You're going to win a lot of football games with that level of offensive efficiency. As you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to make your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. LinkedIn has simple tools like screening questions to make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. We all know when it comes to sports, teamwork is everything. Every player on the field has their role that contributes to helping their team win. And honestly, it's the same when it comes to game day snacking. Whether it's making the dip or bringing the chips, everyone has their role. And if it's you bringing the chips, let me tell you, I'm about to make you the MVP because Zach's Mighty Tortilla Chips are out here changing the game. These are the best tortilla chips out there. My wife and I love them. They're delicious, they're crunchy, and they're made to dip. You never have to worry about a Zach's Mighty Tortilla chip breaking in half when you're dunking them in your guacamole. And I love this. They're all grown with organic Flint corn in upstate New York. So be the hero of this week's tailgate and grab a bag of Zach's Mighty Tortilla Chips at your local Wegmans. Zach's Mighty Tortilla Chips, making you the MVP. I got more to say about things I liked. I didn't even get into the defense, so we're going to talk about that now. Von freaking Miller. Wow. How about a debut for that guy? 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits. He was outstanding. Those 2 sacks were special. A double ghost rush. I mean, that's insane. To be able to carry that speed through that type of turn twice. I mean, the dude still has plenty of juice and plenty of flexibility. I mean, just unreal. And then the speed to power bull rush for the other sack. I mean, this guy looked fresh. Dynamic playmaker, a difference maker. And he commanded a ton of attention. I got a chance to kind of sit kind of in a corner, sort of somewhat in the end zone angle, but to the corner a little bit. And so I got a chance to kind of see that all 22 back view. And the Rams paid him a lot of attention. There was tight sets, chippers, 2 and 3 blockers at times committed to him. And Von made plays. And so did the rest of the D-line. The D-line feasted in this game. Jordan Phillips, welcome back, my dude. 1.5 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. Greg Rousseau with a sack, tackle for loss, pass breakup, and 2 quarterback hits. Man, he was defending the run so well, especially early in the game, making a lot of plays. Boogie Basham, sack, pass breakup, 2 quarterback hits, and of course the interception. A.J. Epinesa with a sack and a half, a tackle for loss, 4 quarterback hits. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's dreamy stuff. You go and give a Von Miller all the money. You draft Rousseau in the first round. You draft Epinesa and Basham in the second round, and this is what they give you? Brandon Beane probably fired up a cigar after this one because he was proven right for this game in terms of how these guys showed up. These dudes ate. I loved how coordinated the rush was. Everybody was rushing with a plan. They were executing rush moves. Pressure was coming from multiple angles. I mean, it was dreamy. You guys know I love D-line play. I watched Von Miller on every snap. I couldn't take my eyes off him. It was fun to watch. 7 sacks. Remember, Matt Stafford was only sacked 30 times last year. That's it, 30 times. Bill sacked him 7 times. Didn't blitz once. Leslie Frazier, confirmed listener of the podcast, right? We talked about that. You don't blitz Matthew Stafford. You got to get organic pressure on the quarterback, and that's exactly what this Bills defensive line did. I mean, when you invest in the D-line like the Bills have, this is what you're hoping to get. Just an unreal start for this group. And look, Daquan Jones, I mean, he's not going to wow you with the stats, but I thought he did a great job anchoring the interior defensive line at the nose tackle position. Bills held the Rams to under 3 yards per carry. That's a Daquan Jones stat. I thought the B-level defenders of the defense, Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, and I'll kind of dump Taron Johnson into this. They played fast and physical. They tackled well. They handled the misdirection stuff extremely well and the rollout stuff that we knew the Rams were going to run. They did a great job being in their spots, not getting fooled, and staying with the play. And they triggered and they made physical tackles. Dane Jackson with an interception. That was fun. I thought Christian Benford and Kyer Elam, rookies, they held their own, rotating opposite of Dane Jackson. The Bills got a real good situation going on at corner. I mean, Tre'Davious White's going to come back at some point. You got Dane Jackson playing at a high level, and these two rookies can both play. And again, I think Christian Benford started this game, and like I've tried to reiterate time and time again, that's not about Kyer Elam. That's about Christian Benford. Kyer Elam's playing well. And if Christian Benford wasn't drafted, I'm sure Kyer Elam would have played the whole game and played well. This is about Christian Benford legitimately earning opportunity. Really, really pleased with those young corners in this game. I mean, Benford gave up the one play where it was the long completion on the Rams' initial drive to Cooper Kupp on a 3rd down, and Benford needed to keep sinking, right? He didn't sink deep enough. He didn't get to his landmark, and the ball was completed over his head. But, I mean, otherwise, I thought both those guys played really, really well. All-Pro Poe got himself a pick off the deflection. That was fun to see. I just love it. Anytime Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer make a play, I just love it. I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but those guys that have been so meaningful to this football team since coming over in 2017, and they deserve everything they get. I thought the coverage rotations with him and Micah Hyde, when I say him, I mean Jordan Poyer, they were really, really sound like they always are. Defense was on point, forced 3 turnovers, held them to 10 points, 7 sacks, held them to under 3 yards per carry running the ball, 243 total yards. You're going to win a lot of football games. I said this with the offense, but you're going to win a lot of football games if you can limit teams like that. But the key was the organic pressure. If you can pressure and get home with 4, and you then can always space your coverage with 7, that's going to make it really, really tough on opposing offenses to move the football against you. Real quick on special teams, shout out to Tyler Bass for his place-kicking efforts, 4 of 4 on extra points, and of course he made his lone field goal attempt to 41 yards. And then I thought the kick coverage was terrific. Jaquan Johnson made a nice special teams tackle. Saron Neal made a great play, and Damar Hamlin, I think, made a couple of nice tackles on special teams as well. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your pro and college football betting needs and sports information this season. Find all the latest football league developments, game matchups, news, and podcasts, including this year's opening week's games. BetOnline is also your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. It's the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. It's BetOnline, and it's where the game starts. All right, let's talk about the things I didn't like from this football game. 4 turnovers. I bet you were really surprised that I said that, right? That was really frustrating, especially early on. You knew the Bills were better than the Rams. You knew it watching the game. You knew the only thing that was going to stop the Bills was themselves. The Rams weren't going to do it. And the Bills turned over the football too many times. 4 turnovers. Once, the first one, Isaiah McKenzie drops a football and it turns into an interception. And so Josh Allen, quote unquote, threw 2 interceptions in the game. Come on now, he threw 1, right? Isaiah McKenzie's got to catch that football. Now, Josh Allen did throw 1 real interception, and he was late over the middle of the field. And it wasn't at a good time. I mean, it was a 10-7 ball game. Bills were up, obviously, 1st and 10, clean pocket. And, you know, there was no reason to test that. I know that you had single coverage and you thought maybe Crowder can beat Troy Hill to the ball, but he didn't. And that ball needed to come out quicker or go somewhere else. That was a legitimate interception. James Cook, how about this guy? First touch in the NFL, he fumbles the ball. And look, what bothers me about that play is that it was a soft fumble. I mean, there's no reason to fumble that ball. I mean, you that's not good. That was not a good fumble. Not that any fumble is a good fumble, but like you can respect a fumble when the opposing team comes in and like makes a good play. I mean, James just wasn't protecting the ball. It came out. And I thought that altered the Bills' game plan a bit. I really do. I think that they wanted to get him going a little bit more. You know, Zach Moss caught like 6 passes in this game. I think a lot of those were supposed to go to James Cook, but he fumbled. Speaking of fumbles, Zach Moss also fumbled. And another soft fumble. Can't do it. And I'm sure, you know, those are good teachable lessons for those players and all that. But, I mean, for as much good as the Bills did in this game, and I love how they overcame these turnovers, you can't turn it over 4 times in a game. Got to clean that up. Did not like Tyler Bass's kickoff out of bounds. That was not great. Set up the only touchdown drive of the game for the Rams. Well, it helps when you start at the 40-yard line. I mean, Tyler just looked like he kind of stumbled and kicked across his body. And, I mean, it wasn't close. I mean, he sent it out of bounds. Did not like that Ed Oliver got injured. I don't know the severity. You know, we'll find out. Reports are that he was in a boot after the game. He was on the sideline the entire game. I was obviously looking at him. And stood up. I mean, wasn't getting like treatment or anything like that. Walking around. So I'm hopeful that this is not anything significant, but you kind of feel bad for Ed Oliver because he would have loved to get in on that defensive line production. I think he would have made some plays himself. The last thing in things I didn't like, the Josh Allen hits, man, those are tough to see sometimes. And I can live with competitive, neutral game script moments where Josh Allen makes a play. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But he took some hits running. 4th quarter, the Bills are up a couple of touchdowns. Those are the ones that had me grimacing. And so 10 rushes, 56 yards. He led the team in rushing. And I want Josh Allen to run the football. You guys that have been listening to this podcast for any length of time knows that I'm a fan of that. I think those are good plays. It's a part of what makes Josh Allen such a great player. But I don't need to see it when the Bills are up 2 scores late in the 4th quarter, man. You know, it's fun to see, but I think we're all wincing a little bit, just hoping he's okay. I mean, when you're that special of a player, when you mean that much to a team, you know, just be careful, Josh, please, bud, please. I want to recap my predictions as well. But first, just 3 notes real quick that I want to mention in terms of just personnel usage and kind of comparing that to some of the conversations we've had leading up to this game. Spencer Brown was the starting right tackle. And again, shout out to my cousin TJ for kind of planting that seed where I was hung up that Spencer was available to play against Denver and didn't play with Josh Allen. And David Questenberry did. And I think that TJ was spot on. Spencer Brown was always the preferred starter at right tackle. It was just a matter of him being ready to play. And if he wasn't ready to play, you can't put him out there with Josh Allen. Well, there's been time that has elapsed since then, and Spencer obviously has ramped up and played a good ball game. So he's your right tackle. We also have a legitimate rotation at slot receiver. You know, Isaiah McKenzie and Jamison Crowder are very much going to get opportunity, it appears. This isn't any one player's job. And I thought, obviously McKenzie with the drop that turns into an interception stands out, but he made other plays. He scored a touchdown. I thought everything was really a positive there, collectively outside of the drop. But we've got a real situation here where these guys are both going to play. And the last thing I'll mention here is that I wonder how much Quentin Morris and James Cook would have changed this Bills game plan. You know, you had 6 catches for Zach Moss. Reggie Gilliam was split out a bunch. I mean, playing legit spread receiver. You know, was that supposed to be Quentin Morris? Was some of those touches that Zach Moss got supposed to be to James Cook specifically in the passing game? And even on some of the outside runs, I'm watching Zach Moss run the ball off tackle. I mean, that's just not going to be a strength. So I wonder how much Quentin Morris being injured and James Cook fumbling on his first touch altered some of what the Bills planned on doing offensively. All right, let's talk about my predictions that I made. I always do this. I like to reconcile what I predicted and then what happened. So my fear of the turnover battle wins the game, and if it's tied, the Bills win. I was wrong about this. The Bills lost the turnover battle. We had 7 turnovers in this game. 4 by the Bills, 3 by the Rams. The Bills lost the turnover battle and won the game 31-10. I was wrong. Well, look, the Rams got some big-time questions to answer. And I know that week 1 can be a liar, but that offensive line looked bad. Matthew Stafford looked bad. It didn't look like they had a whole lot of explosive opportunity in the passing game. They didn't run the ball well. Those backs didn't look good. I don't have any players on their D-line outside of Aaron Donald. I mean, Terrell Lewis looked pretty good, but there's not enough there. They've got spacing issues on the back end. Like the Rams, not what I thought they were going to be. Not what I thought they were going to be. They got some work to do. They got some soul searching to do about what they have on that football team. So I didn't get that right. Number 2, Von Miller and Ed Oliver get sacks. Was I really wrong about this? Because Von Miller got 2 sacks, and Ed Oliver sort of kind of was there on that first sack, and if he would have finished the game, I think he would have got a sack. So I think I got this half right. Number 3, I said Josh Allen would have more passing yards than Matthew Stafford. I was correct. Josh had 297. Stafford had 240. Number 4, I said Stefon Diggs does not lead the team in receiving yards, and boy, did I whiff on that. At 122 receiving yards, led the team. What was number 2? Gabe Davis at 88. I just whiffed. I wasn't right about it. I thought the Bills would work the football more to other players, and on one hand they did, but that the explosive play down the field for the touchdown to Diggs, that obviously put him up over it. So I'm not mad about being wrong, but I was wrong. The last one was that I picked the Bills to win. Got that right. I got that right. Next for the Bills, the home opener, week 2, Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans. We get to watch 2 Sundays of football this week and next, enjoying this win before the Bills play again in front of a national audience. I can't wait to see it. If you want to get a glance at the Tennessee Titans, they play the Giants on Sunday afternoon. Patriots and Dolphins also play. That'll be a game I'm quite interested in. So some good opportunities to do some advanced scouting while you are reminded that the Bills are 1-0 and destroyed the reigning Super Bowl champions at their own place 31-0. So enjoy football this weekend. Enjoy this Victory Friday. As always, I would love it if you took a second to rate, review, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I look forward to catching up with you again on Monday.